What's going on, guys? Brad Bitcoin here with you today. In this video, we're going to be talking about whether or not it's beneficial for you to save up the amount of money in your lending wallet in order to take advantage of these daily interest bonus rates here. So if you invest or reinvest $1,000 or more, you get these little bonus rates of 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.25%, which goes on top of your regular daily interest rate. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is actually a lot over time when you add it all up. But we're going to be talking today about whether or not it's better to save up for a $1,000 loan, $5,000, $10,000, or if you're better off just reinvesting everything right away. So, before we even get started in that, I do have a little bit of news to talk about. First thing, if we go here to tradingview.com, we go to BTC USD chart here, we can see that Bitcoin hit another all-time high today, hitting about $8,382. Right now we're sitting at $8,339, so it didn't quite get above 8,400, but another all-time high for like the fourth day in a row for Bitcoin. If we just go there and click on our relative strength index, you can see here we're not overbought yet. Bitcoin is not overbought, so it's not guaranteed to go down in price or in value, but it might at some point, but who knows, we could slowly still climb up a little bit as well. So next thing to talk about, I do have some videos coming out later this week that I've already done. Tomorrow's video I will be talking about BitConnect and my opinion on the longevity, the sustainability of BitConnect. How long do I think it's going to be around, and what's the future looking like for BitConnect? And I'm going to give my honest opinion on it. Later on the week, I'm going to be talking about Hashflare, my experience with them, my review of them, whether or not I think that you should invest with them. Later on in the week as well, I will be talking about USI Tech, which a lot of my subscribers have mentioned to me in the comments. I've taken a look at everything, and I'm going to make a video about that later on this week as well. So back to the video at hand. Today we're going to talk about whether or not you should save up to get these daily interest bonus rates, 0.1, 0.2, 0.25. Is it better to reinvest right away, or is it better to save up and then reinvest when you have a large amount? So before we even get started, this is sort of a difficult, I wouldn't say it's difficult actually, but it's a little bit confusing. I'm going to try and make it as simple and as easy to understand as possible. So I've already done some calculations here, and I've written them out, and I'm going to show you how I came to these conclusions. So on a $1,000 loan, you get a 0.1% daily interest rate, which you can see right here. A 0.1% daily interest rate is exactly equal to having $100 in your lending wallet. In your active loans. So $100 times 0.1% is $1, which is exactly the same as you would get with a $1,000 investment with an extra 0.1% daily interest rate. So on a $1,000 investment, expect to make $10 a day. With the extra 0.1%, you get $11 a day. If we just show the 0.1% there, you get $1 extra every single day. So $100 is exactly equivalent to getting an extra 0.1% daily bonus rate. $1,000 is exactly equal to getting a 0.2% daily interest bonus on a $5,000 investment. So $1,000 times the regular daily average interest rate of 1% gets you $10. So that's exactly equivalent to getting a 0.2% bonus on a $5,000 loan, and I will show you that right now. $5,000 loan is going to get you about $50 a day at 1%. You add that 0.2% interest rate, and it now goes to $60 a day. Remove the original 1%, you're making $10 a day. So if you combine them together, $60. $50 that you would regularly get, an extra $10 from the daily bonus interest rate here of 0.2%. $1,000 is exactly equivalent. So if you have an extra $1,000 in your active investments, it's exactly the equivalent of having a 0.2% daily interest bonus rate. So now the $10,000. This is where money gets a little bit bigger. You need $2,500 extra in your active investments in order to have the equivalent of a 0.25% bonus rate on a daily basis. $10,000 or more, you get an extra 0.25% daily extra bonus. So on a $10,000 investment, 1% per day, you're going to make $100. You add an extra 0.25 to that, you're going to make $25 extra. So it's going to be an extra $25 every single day. In order to get just regular active investments at 1% per day, in order to make $25, you have to have $2,500 extra inside of your active investments. So having $2,500 in your active investments is exactly the equivalent to having a 0.25% daily interest bonus rate. So let's go into our loans here. This is a chart that shows you how much you'll make over time if you reinvest every time you have $10 or more in your active investments, in your lending wallet. So let's just say you start off with $100. Okay, and now you want to save up till you have a $1,000 investment so that you can take advantage of the 0.1% daily interest rate, which will get you equivalent to an extra $1 a day. So at $100 in active investments at 1% interest rate per day gives you about $1 every single day. In order to save up $1,000, you have to save up for 1,000 days. And this chart, I don't even think this goes to 1,000 days. No, it doesn't. It just goes up to 745 days. So you need to save $1,000 with a $1 per day. It's going to take 1,000 days. It's going to take like almost 3 years to save up that amount of money. At day 745, you would have had $155,000 in active loans and making about $1,500 a day if you had invested every time that you had reached $10. And it gets even worse if you want to save up for $5,000 or $10,000, because at that point, $5,000 you have to save for 5,000 days, which is the equivalent of 13 and a half years and about 27 years if you want to save up for $10,000 investment. 27 years from now, $10,000 wouldn't even be worth anywhere near as much as it is today. So it's not worth it. You have $100 in active investments. You're better off to just reinvest every single time you get to $10. So let's go a little bit bigger and go to $1,000. At $1,000, 1% daily interest rate, you're making about $10 a day. So you still need to save up for 100 days in order to get to $1,000 in active investments. So let's say you do. Let's say you save up. So on the original $1,000, you're going to make $10 a day. And then you've saved up to get another $1,000, and on that, you're going to be making 1.1% per day. So you add these together, you have $2,000 in active loans, and you're making $21 per day. If we go back to our Excel chart here, after 100 days that you would have been using to save up that $10 to get up to $1,000, you would have had, if you invested every time you got $10 or more, you would have had $2,670 in loan, making $26 a day instead of $21. So it's not worth it to save up until you have the bonuses, and it gets worse. The bigger that you get up, the bigger the bonuses that you save up for, the worse off you are. So if we go to, let's say you want to save up till you have a $5,000 a day, $5,000 active investment, you need to save for 500 days. By the time that you saved up for 500 days, you would have had 142,000 in active investments, making about $1,400 per day. So the longer that you need to wait to save up to get these daily bonus rates, the worse it turns out for you and the less beneficial it becomes. So let's go to something different. We'll go to a $10,000 investment. Okay, so 10,000, let's say you want to save up and you want to, let's say you want to save up to get a $1,000 loan out there. So you want to have that extra 0.1% daily bonus interest rate. So you need to save up for only 10 days. So at 10 days, you'll have at $100 per day at 1% daily interest rate. 10 days you'll be able to save up another $1,000. So what's the benefit of that? So on the original $10,000, you'll be making at 1%, you will be making about $100 a day. And let's say you have an extra $1,000 that you are making 0.11% on. So you're going to make $11 per day on that $1,000 that you saved up for, plus the $100 a day that you would have on the original $10,000 investment. So you're making $111 per day. So if we go down here after 10 days on BitConnect, making $100 per day, if you had reinvested every time that you had $10 and you had reinvested in multiples of 10, then by day 10 you would have $11,130. So now you're making $111.30 every day, which is actually better than the $111 that you would have been making if you had saved up. So we're getting close right now, but it's still not there. It's still better to reinvest every single day, even if you're making $100 a day and it only takes you $10 to save up for a bonus daily interest bonus rate. It's still better to reinvest every single day. So what if we go down to 50 days? After 50 days on $100 per day, you'll be able to save up $5,000. So you'll still be making $100 on that original $10,000 investment, but now on the $5,000 that you've saved up, you're going to make 1% a day plus the 0.2% daily interest rate, which is going to get you $60 extra every single day. 100 plus 60 is 160. And if we go down to here to day 50, where it would have taken us to save up $5,000, if you had reinvested every time you had $10 or more in multiples of 10, you would have $16,570 in active loans and investments, which would give you $165.70 per day, which is better than the $160 that you had before. Let's go to 10,000. You will have $10,000. You save up for 100 days to get another $10,000. So the $10,000 that you have, you are making $100 a day on that, and then you save up another $10,000. And you get 1% daily interest average plus the extra 2.5%. You're making $125 on that. So now you're making $225 per day. So that $225 per day still doesn't reach the $272 that you would have if you had invested right away. So let's just say that your original investment actually included, you started out with $10,000, so you're already getting 0.25% daily interest bonus per day. You would now have $250 per day. Still not worth it. It's still not worth it there. So let's just say here that you started out with, you're getting 1.25% in daily interest bonus per day. That would mean that $1,000 to save up for $125 a day takes 8 days exactly. So we go down here, the extra $1,000 would give you an extra $11 a day, but by day 8, even if you started out with a $10,000 loan and you got that extra 0.25% daily bonus interest rate already, from your initial investment, it still wouldn't be worth it, because in that 8 days you would have been able to save $1,160. So you would be getting an extra $11.60 every single day instead of just $11. So it still isn't worth it. Let's go to $100,000. Let's just go to the most extreme, $100,000, and you getting the 0.25% daily interest rate. Let's just say. So how long does it take to save up for $1,000 investment? Well, it doesn't. You get that every single day. You're going to get, if you have $100,000 in loans, you're going to get $1,000 every single day. So you're automatically going to get that 0.1% daily interest rate. We don't even need to talk about that, because that's just what you're going to get every single day anyways. So let's go on to $5,000. You're making $1,250 every single day. $1,250, and you want to save up for $5,000. So that's going to take you, divided by 1250, 4 days exactly. So let's go down to 4 days here, where you would have had $5,000 saved, and the equivalent to getting a 0.2% daily interest rate is an additional $1,000. So $6,000 total. Well, you can see here that by day 4 you would have had $6,330, which means that instead of, so you have $5,000 per day times daily average interest rate of 1% plus that 0.2 gets you $60 a day. But if you had just reinvested right away, you would now be getting $63.30 extra every single day. So even at 100%, even at $100,000 in active investments, even at 0.25% daily interest rate included on every single loan that you have on the entire platform, it's still better to reinvest every single day. So there's actually more complicated ways of looking at this. This is already plenty complicated as it is, and I tried to explain it the best that I can, but there are instances where it is actually possible to save up. So let's say you had an interest rate, and this is the reason behind this is because the interest rates change every single day. So let's say that you have $10,000 in active investments, and there was a day when the daily interest rate for that day was 0.74%. 0.74%, right? And you get that extra 0.25% because you have a $10,000 loan, which brings it up to 0.99. Okay, so now you have $99. Actually, let's put this up to a $100,000 loan. So now you have $990 in your lending wallet. But then you look at the BitConnect chart here and you see something like the next day being 0%. You're not making anything the next day on any of your loans, but you still get that extra 0.25% daily interest rate. So you're still going to make $25. Actually, on $100,000, you're still going to make $250 the next day. So if we do 990 plus 250, then you have enough for your $1,000 reinvestment to get that 0.1% daily interest rate. And you didn't lose anything because you didn't reinvest on the days when you knew the next day was going to be 0%. So it can get super complicated if you want to do the math yourself, but as a general rule, if you want to be as safe as possible, the best bet for you is to never save up the money in your lending wallet. If you just care about increasing your active investments and increasing your daily payouts, then you are almost always better to reinvest right away. So thank you guys for watching my video. If you're interested in watching the daily BitConnect update video on our dummy account, then stick around. If not, then please comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video tomorrow night at 7 p.m.